Late spring 1945. A dusty field hospital tent near the Rhine, the air heavy with the sharp tang of iodine, the metallic scent of blood, and the faint, lingering smoke of distant artillery. Sunlight filters through canvas flops, illuminating rows of stretchers where wounded men lie in uneasy silence. Among them, captured German soldiers, their uniforms stripped away, bandaged and pale. Nearby, a group of German nurses, recently taken prisoner themselves, stand in starched gray dresses, their faces etched with exhaustion and quiet resignation. In the closing months of the war in Europe, as Allied forces pushed deeper into German territory, medical units followed close behind. By early 1945, American and British hospitals were equipped with a substance that had transformed the treatment of battlefield wounds: penicillin. Discovered in the late 1920s by Alexander Fleming, purified and developed through the tireless efforts of Howard Florey, Ernst Chain, and their team at Oxford, penicillin had entered mass production in the United States by 1943. Pharmaceutical giants like Pfizer scaled fermentation techniques, drawing from deep tank methods and superior strains of Penicillium mold, yielding millions of units monthly. By D-Day in June 1944, Allied troops carried vials of this golden powder or solution, injecting it into wounds that once spelled certain death from infection. For the Allies, penicillin was no longer a scarce experimental drug, but a standard tool. Infection rates plummeted, amputation and mortality from gas gangrene, streptococcal sepsis, and pneumonia fell dramatically. In the European theater alone, conservative estimates suggest it directly saved or preserved the limbs of over 100,000 men between Normandy and the German surrender. Surgeons noted that gangrene, once afflicting 20 to 30 cases per thousand under untreated prisoners, became rare under penicillin therapy. German medical personnel knew of penicillin in theory. Reports from neutral Sweden had reached the Reich as early as 1942, translating Allied publications. The Reich Health Ministry ordered research in December 1943, but efforts remained fragmented, underfunded, and hampered by bombing disruptions. Reliance on sulfonamides, effective but inferior, prone to resistance and toxicity, persisted. Germany produced only minuscule quantities, enough perhaps for superficial dusting or elite cases, never for widespread military use. Wounded German soldiers faced the grim realities of pre-antibiotic medicine, rampant infection, agonizing decline, and frequent death. In prisoner-of-war hospitals run by the Allies, policy dictated humane treatment under the Geneva Convention. Precious penicillin, still rationed but abundant compared to German supplies, was administered without distinction to enemy wounded. To captured German nurses, accustomed to watching patients slip away from infections deemed hopeless, this was unthinkable extravagance. They had expected the victors to reserve the miracle drug for their own. Instead, they witnessed American medics preparing syringes, drawing clear solution from vials, and injecting it into septic wounds of former adversaries. Men with high fevers, pus-draining gashes, limbs blackened by gangrene. One such moment unfolded in a forward hospital in Western Germany, late April 1945. A severely wounded German soldier, his leg ravaged by shrapnel and advancing infection, lay delirious, pulse racing, prognosis grave by any standard the nurses knew. Sulfonamides had failed, amputation seemed inevitable, survival doubtful. An American surgeon, matter-of-fact, ordered penicillin, 100,000 units intramuscularly, repeated every 3 hours. The nurses observed, skeptical yet compelled. Within hours, fever subsided. By the next day, inflammation receded, pus flow diminished. On the third, the patient sat up, appetite returning, the limb salvaged. Similar scenes repeated across wards. Pneumonia cases clearing lungs once filled with fluid, septicemia reversing its fatal course. German nurses trained in the harsh constraints of their own system stood transfixed. Accounts from Allied medical staff recount their reactions. wide-eyed disbelief giving way to overwhelming emotion. Some wept quietly, others, overcome by the sight of lives reclaimed where they had long accepted defeat, grew faint and required support. The sheer abundance of the drug, its routine use on enemies, shattered years of conditioned resignation. This contrast pierced deeply. German medical workers anticipated scarcity, triage favoring the strong, mercy in limited doses. What they encountered was industrial-scale mercy, penicillin symbolizing not just a drug, but American productive capacity, the Democratic Alliance's ability to harness science for human preservation on a vast scale. Vials of penicillin, simple, unassuming glass containers holding pale yellow powder, became recurring emblems in these wards. Handed freely, injected without hesitation, they represented an abundance born of innovation and resources the Reich could not match. For many German nurses, these experiences marked a profound shift. Propaganda had painted the Allies as materialistic destroyers. Reality revealed a system capable of extending life even to foes. Post-war recollections from captured medical personnel speak of shaken beliefs, questioning the ideology that led to ruin while witnessing compassion backed by superior science. Some later aided in rebuilding German medicine. Others reflected on the war's futility when confronted with such tangible evidence of the enemy's humanity and strength. In the quiet aftermath, as Europe emerged from shadows, these moments lingered. Penicillin did more than heal flesh. It exposed the fragility of regimes built on conquest and scarcity. In saving lives once abandoned to fate, it whispered a larger truth, that freedom, when allied with ingenuity and abundance, could extend grace across battle lines, reminding even the vanquished of humanity's shared capacity for renewal. The faint echo of those vials, simple vessels of hope, carried forward, linking one war's end to a world's beginning, where medicine transcended borders and the miracle of survival became a promise for all.